Nope. Ah, there we go. Nope. Today is one of those days where I am most likely going to be making a fool of myself. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Traxion channel for another brand new video in which I'm going to be taking on a game titled Drift21. If you thought bike games were out of my comfort zone, then this really does take that to the next level. I am not very good at drifting. Why am I punishing myself so much, you may be asking? Well, there is a good reason, because on the 10th of June, this game, after being in early access mode for a long time, was finally fully released, version 1.0, on Steam for PC users. Sadly, there's no mention yet of any console versions coming, but we'll have to keep an eye out for that in the future. The aim of the video today is basically just to give this a go, see what it's all about, try out some of the different game modes, and see how I get on. Drift games are pretty popular at the moment, to be fair, because you've got, Car X Drift Racing, which is doing fairly well, although you could argue it seems like more of a kind of compromise between arcade and sim. It's meant to be played on a controller, for example. This game, well, I'm going to try it on both a controller and a wheel, so I guess we're going to find out. Just before I jump into the video, for anyone who's not yet subscribed to the Traxion channel, I thoroughly recommend you do so, as you'll be able to see all of our videos when they come out and help the channel grow in the future as well. Right, first things first, I'm just going to have a quick look at the different game modes you can do, just to give you a flavour of what it's all about. The standard quick play game mode is probably quick race and multiplayer. If we open this up, we've got the option of single player game and multiplayer game, so there is online with this game. I'm going to have to try that and see if it works at some point. If we go into single player though, we've got the option to pick a car, pick a track, and then we've got the option between the modes free ride, and we've also got challenges mode, which is pretty cool. So within the challenges menu here, you can see we've got solo runs, we've also got time attacks as well, a gymkhana at the bottom there, so you'll have all of these challenges for each different circuit as well, so plenty of content there. Speaking of the different circuits, you can see here we've got quite a few to choose from, including the infamous Bison complex in Japan. Now, sadly, it got pretty badly damaged in the 2021 Fukushima earthquake, so I'm not really sure in the state of the venue at the moment, but we've got all of the different layouts in this game. We've got the school version, Driftland, we've got West, North, etc, etc. We've also got a parking lot, we've got a stadium, which looks cool. In terms of cars, basically we've got a lot of classic drift cars that you would normally associate with drifting. So you've got your BMWs there in many different forms through the years, from E30 to E92. We've got a Ford Mustang, we've got RX-7, MX-5, RX-8, a couple of Nissans there as well, including the 350Z, and we've got the Subaru BRZ as well. Now, as you can see, we have two versions of the cars. We've got stock and drift ready, so you can either drive the standard road version or you can drive a drift prepared version. However, there is a way that you can drive something a little bit different, which I'll come to. Sandbox Mode. Now, this is a big part of the game as well. It's not just about the actual driving and the drifting itself, it's about the customization and the creation, which is always good. So, Sandbox Mode here, it says at the bottom, you can build the best drift cars with no cash limit and all content unlocked. Test them in practice mode and in multiplayer sessions, so let's have a look at that. So as you can see, we have our own garage here where we'll be able to place a car and basically customize it, build it in any way we want. There's thousands of different parts, and we'll be able to create basically a car of our dreams. Although I don't really know what I'm doing, so that will be interesting. I'm definitely going to try and build a car in a little bit, but we'll come back to that. The final game mode, of course, is career mode, and that is pretty much an amalgamation of the things we just discussed. So you're effectively doing your driving and your drifting and everything, but you're also building and tuning your own drift cars, you're completing challenges to win money and therefore be able to buy better parts, etc, etc. So that's kind of the everything encompassed into one big thing. Okay, best place to start is always just your kind of free roam mode, so I can actually just try and get a feel for this. So we're going to have a look at the tracks. I'd quite like to do one of the Abisu ones, but we'll maybe come to that in a little bit. Let's go with Stadium version 1, that looks fairly straightforward. As for a car, well, it's probably a safe bet to start with one of the road versions before trying the drift ready cars. So I'm going to go with a Nissan 350Z. My mum has one, I love it, it's in silver, so let's go with that. I'm very interested to see how the drifting mechanic feels in this game, with both the controller and a wheel. I'll start with the controller, by the way. I am no drifter. I'm good at going straight. I'm good at, being neat and tidy and keeping it all together. But honestly, when it comes to drifting, for me it's usually by accident and it doesn't end well. So yeah, I'm very, very intrigued to see how I get on with this. Okay, let's start driving then. Sounds pretty good, this car. So I'm using manual gears and everything like that, but I'm using a little bit of steering assist just to try and get up to speed with it until I see how it feels. You can pretty much see straight away that this game just wants you to go sideways, like constantly. The car is trying to fight with you. Oh, that was actually a normal racing line. I was trying to use the handbrake there to get the back end, but there we go. So yeah, it's just about weight transfer from one side to the other. Try not to do that and hit the tyres. I've already stacked it, oh dear. This would definitely take some getting used to, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, the game's clearly encouraging you as much as possible to try and get this thing sideways, even though it's the stock version, so that's good. That's not good. So you can see at the top we've got our multipliers, combos, stuff like that, so the usual kind of point systems you would find in most drifting games and drifting modes. Let's try and get this thing going. I'm feeling like this thing's quite difficult to get the back end out, and it may be because it's the stock version, but I'm quite intrigued to try a drift version, so I think I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but with the drift version of the 350Z, just to compare the difference. We'll paint it chili pepper red to signify anger. Okay, let's go with this then. Oh, instantly a lot more power, let's put it that way. Back end's coming out a lot more oh yeah. Okay, the angle much better. Get the back end out a lot easier. We're going to tip it in. Oh, lack of drifting experience very apparent already, but yeah, we're getting some good angles on this. Car looks cool as well, you have to say. I do like the chili pepper red. Keep it going fully on the trigger. Obviously with this, the controller, your inputs are a bit less precise, but you know, the game seems to be designed to let people like me cope with it, which is good. Just spoke about 2 seconds too soon there. Nice and close to the wall. Swing it back round, get the weight transfer going, a little bit of handbrake. Oh, kind of failed that one halfway through. It's actually going okay so far. Feels a lot more manageable, funnily enough, using the drift version than it does with the stock version. I'm not sure it'd be quite that simple in real life, let's put it that way. Maybe we'll try some challenges actually, that sounds fun. We're going to try a Drift Ready RX-7 in Innocent Blue. Innocent Blue, that's an interesting name for a colour. Let's try a Bisu Minami, that looks cool. I'm pretty sure this is one of the most famous layouts from the venue as well. So yeah, that's quite exciting, we'll see how it actually looks. The sensible place to start would be Solo Run 1, so let's just go with that. So you can see there's a little map on the right here. It tells you where you start, you've got your checkpoints, and you've also got clipping zones and drift zones and stuff like that. So obviously I'll work it out as I do it, but I'm not expecting a very good result first time out. Okay, let's see how we go with this. Oh, the RX-7 sounds good. Right, we've got our first checkpoint. Through a left-hander, another checkpoint. Oh, I'm going too fast already. We've got a clipping zone, which means we've got to clip. Oh, no. I'm assuming that little white bit's the... Oh, dear. It's all gone horribly wrong. I'm assuming that little marked section there is the clipping zone, so we've got to try and hit that with the back tyres. We've got another checkpoint. Speed trap as well, so carry some speed. Oh, just touched the wall, over the finish line. And that's a challenge complete. Well, failed, but you know what I mean. Let's try this from cockpit cam then and see how it compares. So we've got a left-hander. We can't go too fast through here because we know how easily it can go wrong. Much better line, clipping zone, hit the handbrake. Oh, we completed the clipping zone, that's good. It's really helpful having that look to the apex in the camera as well. Rubbish through the speed trap, and we'll slide it through the finish line. Pretty rubbish run, but I completed all the objectives, and we got a gold trophy, so that's how challenges work. I actually think it feels quite nice on a controller, so I'm going to get the wheel out and see how we get on. This video is also the perfect opportunity for me to plug our TraxionGG Twitch team, because we have an incredible stream team. We've got, you know, everything you can imagine. We've got paint schemes by drive-through, we have Dave Cam playing iRacing, we've got Alex Gillen playing the F1 games, and we've also got Mitchie Hoyer playing R Factor 2. The main one for this video, though, that's relevant is Aero. So we have a streamer called Aero who streams on Traxion on Monday night, and he's an amazing drifter. He's really, really good at it. He tries all sorts of different cars and track combinations on the likes of Assetto Corsa and other drift games, and he's basically a pro at this. So I've been watching his streams recently and trying to apply some of this learning to what I'm doing today. So for example, he recommended that when you start out drifting, you may be best to lower your degrees of rotation a little bit because it's pretty difficult with 900 degrees. So I'm actually running with 720 degrees for this video. Let's go with a drift-ready version of the MX-5 because I race MX-5s, so it's meant to be. We'll go for that kind of sunburn orange look. Love that. And yeah, let's see how it feels on a wheel. So for this, I'm using my trusty Logitech G29 with the Logitech H-pattern shifter as well, because it's pretty hard to drift with paddles. I don't have any fancy handbrake or anything, so I'm actually going to use the upshift paddle as my handbrake. So it's not ideal, but to be honest, this is kind of what a regular person who would play this game is most likely to have, compared to some of the fancier stuff. Okay, let's get this MX-5 underway then. We'll stick with cockpit view at the moment, and immediately... Oh, the steering feels very light, actually. Keep on going to change gear with the handbrake. Okay, I don't know this course either, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. But yeah, steering. My first reaction is this feels weird. Not gonna lie. The wheel, it doesn't really have a very exact self-centering system, I would say. So it feels a little bit kind of strange. It feels like there's not much feeling in the middle, and then suddenly you've got all this weight that pulls the steering to one side to try and give you quicker transitions, I guess, but it doesn't really lend itself to much natural feeling, to be honest. Now, I've never driven a drift car in real life, so I don't know how it's meant to feel, but I get the feeling this isn't quite it. Also, I should stress as well that you will obviously, feel the difference between the likes of a gear-driven wheel, which this Logitech is, compared to the likes of a belt-driven wheel or a direct drive wheel. And obviously gear-driven is a little bit less fancy, there's less power, less technology going into it, which might make it a little bit suboptimal for drifting. But, as I say, that's the most common thing that people are going to have probably, because it's the most affordable option. Oh, this is really tough. Let's try the behind camera again, just to see how we get on with this. So bad through there. I'm having to just quickly shuffle my hands through, but because I can't really let go of the wheel, like normally when you see drifters, they're kind of just letting their hands loose and the wheel kind of goes back into position for them, but I'm not getting that sensation right now. I'm having to fully wrestle the wheel myself to get it back into position. Ooh, that's not good. Definition of understeer right there. It should be as much about feeding the wheel back through as it is about forcing it, and right now I'm just feeling like I have to unnaturally force it. Oh, it's that corner. That's a famous corner. It's not how you should take it though. You know what? I'm going to go and try with the Nissan 350Z because I knew that was a nice car, and let's just see if the car is maybe making a difference as well. Alright, let's give this 350Z a go then instead, just to see. Now obviously I am so far from a drifting expert. I'm the total opposite. I'm a complete beginner, as you can see by that right there. So yeah, my opinion on this is obviously not one of an expert, but it does give you an insight as to, what, if you're not someone who's, if you're not a drift expert either, then this would probably give you an insight as to what it might be like for you. And so far, it's feeling like a slightly more enjoyable experience on a controller, weirdly. Maybe it's just a case of getting used to it. Section right for once as we jump. Oh, almost, just about. A bit too much rotation in the middle of it, and I screwed up for this bit, but that was a little bit better through there. I was just trying to get up to speed in a straight there, and I'm actually trying to feel the steering, and it's actually as if the steering wheel is completely controlling my inputs. So like, if I turn a little bit left, then bang, the steering wheel turns. It's like, it's just, I don't know if it's just trying to accelerate the swing from one side to the other. Through there, back in the controller again because I just want to do one final comparison. Now that I know this tracking car a little bit and I've been struggling with it, I want to see if it's easier on a controller. I think it's fair to say that for a total drifting novice like myself, a controller is easier to get the hang of with this game than a Logitech G29 or G920 is. It's a very specific comparison. I cannot possibly talk for an experienced drifter. I'll leave that down to the likes of Aero. So I'd say if you have both a controller and a wheel, definitely try it on both. But it's probably going to end up being the controller until you get a little bit more used to the actual mechanics of the game. Goodbye, my friend. Okay then, it's time to try out Sandbox Mode. Let's see what absolute disaster I can come up with here. First task is to pick a car. Do you know, I have always loved the rotary RX-8, so I'm pretty tempted to go with that. Now I've got to be clear, I haven't looked into this at all, so got missing parts mode on. I don't really know where to go with this. I'm just going to be clicking lots of random buttons, seeing what happens. Open warehouse. Okay, so we've got our choice of engines. We're going to have to go with the rotary because that's the reason I picked the car, so let's take that. There's the rotary. Now let's hope I don't actually have to push the engine into the car because I don't know how I'm going to fit it. I can turn the engine upside down. That's going to perform really well. Also, you've got different parts here. You've got the intake manifold, exhaust manifold. So we can take bits off it. That's good to know. And then we can just, throw the parts on the ground. Okay. I must say, with this, I am so impressed by the detail. Like, you've got every single little element of the engine. If I was to click on the radio menu here, I've got the engine parameters, and I can choose what to add to it. So I can put on a small turbo. I don't think that's where the turbo goes. Just add in the bits we need here. Oh, no, I didn't mean to drop that. That's really annoying. How do I place it? Nope. Ah, there we go. No, come on. You can do it. Okay, I know how to fit a radiator hose. We're getting somewhere. Come on. It's very hard to actually put the parts in the right places. That's what I'm literally struggling with the most at the moment. So here are all your different parts in the warehouse. Engine pipes, gearbox, drivetrain, suspension, tires, everything. So there's such a large amount of customization here, which I love to see, but you really do need to spend some time to kind of work out what all this is about. And I mean, this is a cool learning experience, but it's going to be much easier for someone to pick up that really knows what they're doing when it comes to car mechanics. We can take parts, we can throw them on the ground, so we can take out things to make room. I'm not going to go into any further detail on this just now, because this is definitely a time sapper, and it's one that if you love car mechanics, this is amazing. You're going to really like this. It might take some time to get used to. If you don't love car mechanics, it's going to be tricky, and you're going to have a lot to learn. And I kind of fall into the second category. I do enjoy it, but this is not for this video. So you can see there's a lot of detail, which is very impressive, so I'm happy enough with that. I'm also convinced that playing through the career mode, you'd be able to learn a lot more about this side of the game that we don't have time for today, because obviously the point of career mode is that you build up money and you use that to upgrade your car and stuff like that. So that's probably there's probably a good tutorial for it somewhere. Right then, the final thing I want to do in this video is see if multiplayer works. Are there people playing? Can we get some stuff going? I don't know how this works, so let's find out. So we've already got a server up with 4 people in it, Stadium version 2, let's go with that one I guess. We'll give the RX-8 a go then, in the Drift Ready spec, and yeah, let's jump in and see what this is all about. I'm actually looking forward to online. I feel like if you're playing with friends, you know, this is the best way to enjoy a game like this. Right then, we've spawned in, you can see there's the circuit, we've got all the other people drifting online, which is really cool. So I guess we're gonna drive on and join them. Let's see how this RX-8 handles things. Sounds good. Oh, a little bit deep into there. I don't know if it's the smoke or something from the other cars, but the frame rate doesn't seem to be quite as strong online as it was offline. This RX-8 is actually a bit of a handful, to be honest. Oh, someone's doing the circuit in reverse. An MX-5. Oh, maybe that's actually someone who's ghosting a little bit. They don't seem to be connected to the server properly. Straight through them. Oh, almost. Almost hit the tyre bundle. We'll flick it into turn 1. Too high gear probably, but this RX-8 has got a lot of power. The lack of frame rate is pretty tricky to deal with online, to be honest. It's definitely noticeable. I'm not even running at the highest quality settings either, I'm running on medium. This RX-8 is definitely more of a handful than the 350Z, so I can confirm that different cars do feel pretty different, which is good to know as well. I really want to try and follow some of these guys just to see if we can do some group drifting. Oh! There's a BMW with a very nice BMW livery in the middle of the road. I'm going back to my trusty Chili Pepper 350Z because I feel like I'm a bit better at driving that one. Yeah, this Nissan is so much more manageable than the RX-8. Don't know what it is, it's just a totally different characteristic altogether, and I seem to get on a lot better with it. I can actually get around the laps without too many issues. Some of the other drivers were just saying in the chat that they're also getting like 30 frames per second online, so it's clearly an issue with multiplayer versus single player. I think it's locked at 30 FPS or something, so I'm not going to speculate on those issues specifically, but that seems to be the problem. We'll just watch these guys running in tandem, try and learn how it's done. Smoke everywhere. See if I can join them. Oh no, the BMW spun. Oh well. Oh, head-on collision. So I'm going to probably leave that there for now, but yeah, multiplayer's got potential. If they can improve the FPS, it should be good. Well guys, that is going to wrap up my little Let's Play introduction there to Drift21. I actually quite enjoyed playing the game. It doesn't feel perfect or optimized coming from someone who's a novice. Doesn't feel super easy to get the hang of, but there's a few cool features. I think the car building stuff is a separate thing altogether. I think that's really impressive, but you really need to be into it, and that's maybe, you know, that's maybe where you can find a lot more of the enjoyment with the game. Just another reminder that if you are interested in drifting and you don't want to see me badly drift, you want to see someone who's really good at it doing it, check out Aero on the Traxion Twitch channel. He streams on Monday evenings and those are absolutely awesome, so yeah, make sure you keep an eye out for that one. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well for more racing game content of all kinds, but until next time, keep it pinned, thanks for watching, and have a great day.